Well, hey again everyone, I want to give you guys a little bit of a new video here in the lull between things, because I wanted to try to get like the next review out really quick, like something kind of short and sweet, quick turnaround type of thing, but things weren't terribly on the best wavelengths over the weekend, and I just, as things go in these times and whatnot, I just kind of had to work through doing almost nothing while trying to do a whole lot of things. But things have kind of moved over and things are moving forward, and there are things to talk about in terms of new content coming up on the channel and some other nice little things that I want to talk about later on. But regardless of that, I'm going to tell you guys that we are attempting something for commentaries, because as you may have noticed or whatnot, or heard or whatnot, Trent has done many podcasts. He does a lot of wrestling podcasts, and he's got a nice, good quality setup with audio and stuff like that. So we were talking, chatting and whatnot the other night, and it's like, okay, maybe I can modify my setup so we can record something over Zoom or Skype or whatever the heck it is, whatever service we end up going, regardless, that kind of setup. So I'm in the process of finding the right adapters or whatnot to make my setup function through the computer, and we can set the whole thing up and sync up and record and do some stuff. Because my friend Oliver Harper, his channel whatnot, he is doing very much the same type of thing. He's hooking up with a couple friends and recording things over streaming, stuff like that. So it's turned out very well. The quality he's producing through this stuff is pretty nice, because I just listened to one he did. Audio quality is really nice, no hiccups, really good stuff. So if we can manage that type of thing, that'll be a very good type of thing for us to jump in on. But I tried getting this one adapter, this one little sort of thing for the, this thing that would have kind of hooked up the microphone and the headphones together into this little thing where it's got these little sort of different knobs on here, these little nodules and whatnot, which are supposed to kind of transmit different signals, technical stuff. Regardless of that, these nodules are supposed to kind of break up the different signals and tell the input device that is transmitting headphones and audio in, audio out type of stuff. Sadly, it didn't work, but I have a USB device on order that hopefully will solve this issue. And just got to make sure I have batteries for the microphone, because I don't know, because with the microphone that I have, the shotgun mic and everything, it works off of phantom power through the camera, so I don't always have to have a battery in it. It will work off the power supply of the camera itself, whether it's AC adapter or the actual camera battery. It'll work off of that, and there's no like battery indicator light on these goddamn things that tell me that if the lithium-ion battery I have in there is dead or still working. So I have no gauge to know if the battery I put in there is still working. Because I was trying to shoot a video, which I'm going to mention momentarily here, but I tried to shoot a video last night. Things didn't quite go to the traction I wanted to, especially when I had a truncated evening, as I had to get up early today. But regardless of that, it didn't get shot, but I had put in the new battery, and then I was laying down to go to bed and realized I left the on switch on the microphone. So I was like, God damn, this thing's been draining whatever little amount of energy it needs to over the last couple of hours, so I don't know if things are working. Regardless, I'm working on a setup that hopefully maybe will work. I gotta make sure that the equipment works, then I can record properly and all these different things, because I've never done this before. But hopefully it will work and we can get at least a little bit of something for you. Steve doesn't have this type of setup. He has no professional gear to record any of this stuff. He has nothing to do. He's got nothing he can have. Nothing he has is going to work for this setup. So we're looking forward to see sometime we can get together physically and do like a marathon session, but we're still waiting on different things to fall in the right place and get a certain sense about it, how we want to do this and everything like that, all these different things. So right now, Trent and I are working on this situation, and we'll get you an update probably next week of whether it's going to land, so you can look up on the social medias for my stuff, and you get the updates as we move forward. Video I was trying to shoot was a review for Superman 2. I sat down all day long. I watched the Making of Superman 2 documentary. I watched both cuts of the film and watched other little featurettes, stuff like that. I was ready to go into it, and it took so long to kind of get set up and prepped and rehearsed and stuff like that that by the time I started shooting it, my throat was kind of not working properly. And just something was off in there, and it's like I heard it. I was like, I can't go forward with this because it's going to sound weird. So I had to cut it off and just kind of replan where things going to lay there and everything like that. So that's the main review I'm focused to get done first. I still have my notes sitting here under the camera right here. So that's going to happen eventually, but I've got a couple of odd scheduled days here to kind of work through and then get back into that groove and everything like that. So I'm planning on that happening sometime soon. And I've got a whole list of things. I got a whole slew of different things. I've just been ripping discs for like the last week. Just ripping stuff from the Blu-rays and the DVDs of stuff I might potentially cover. Right now, as I'm sitting here, I'm ripping a disc for Star Trek 6. The computer's doing that now. I had to turn the monitor off. I had to switch the thing off so it wouldn't be going off. So if I hit the mouse or something, stuff's going to show up on the screen. Anyway, while I'm not actually shooting stuff, I'm doing some sort of pre-production work. So I can get all these hours of ripping shit off the discs and everything prepped. It's sucking up a lot of space on the hard drive. Thankfully, I upgraded my hard drives in the last year or so. But regards to that, I'm moving forward on stuff, even though I'm not posting stuff. I'm at least finding ways to get progress done. So that's the whole thing. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, I really wish I had gotten the Superman 2 review shot yesterday, because it would have been just kind of this weirdest thing. Because again, obviously Superman 2 is the whole thing of like, okay, Richard Donner, the original director, gets kicked off the film, gets fired, and then they bring in another director. They go off and shoot the whole film, so now there's like two different cuts of the film. The theatrical release, then many years later, the Donner version gets assembled, all these different things, and then it's like the exact same day I'm planning to do this review, Warner Brothers and HBO Max announced they're actually putting together the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. It's like, this couldn't be the most bizarre sync up of coincidences that you could possibly have. So it's like, it was just a weird thing. I would have like, would have just been nice to kind of get all that kind of like compacted in this sort of unusual moment in time. But regardless of that, the video is going to happen. That's just inconsequential thing, but just kind of a strange sort of sync up of things in reality. But anyway, guys, so there's the Superman 2 review that's being planned. Again, I got some Star Trek 6 stuff to talk about, basically, because anyway, well, there's that, and there's just a random selection of different things I just have slapped together. Not to sound like it's all slapdash or anything, but I've just been like grabbing discs, ripping stuff, just like, okay, I'm probably going to cover this. So let me just get this out of the way so I can just have it there and jump into wherever I need to when I get to post-production on whatever I shoot. So there's that, and let me get into media pickups, because I mentioned some of this stuff when I did the last update weeks ago, and I ordered stuff from Bull Moose again this week as well, which I'll mention, but I did order the Hidden on Blu-ray. I got this. I haven't popped it in yet, but I did watch the film before I purchased it. But regardless of that, this is still on the books for a review. Things didn't go quite as fast as I wanted to in that time we were doing the Kickstarter for In Search of Tomorrow. So all I got was the Outland review out to promote that. But regardless, this is still on the books. This is happening. It's happening, Alberto. My friend on Facebook is like insane over this movie. Still happening, and the review's going to happen, my friend. Don't worry. I'm going to put all the effort into it. But, yeah. Right on the money there. And as I'm ordering for bullmoose.com, they're kind of... where you get free shipping is at the $30 level. So when I'm ordering the stuff that's a little bit more costly, and it's not that costly, but it's like the big title that costs a little bit more money, I want to fill out some other stuff that's like, okay, it was like a $5 or $6 gap between what I have now and I'm going to have to pay for shipping, or if I just find another title to throw in there and get the free shipping, I'd rather do that. So I upgraded my DVD copy of Expendables 2 to Blu-ray because I really like it. I really like it. I remember sitting down, maybe, I don't know, it was last year before, something like that. I sat down, just like, did this day of just like action movie marathon. Just sat down, enjoyed things. I watched like I got prepped for like Lethal Weapon 4. I watched like some Van Damme films, stuff like that. John Wick 2. Wonderful day. It was a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. So, and this is one of those films I sat down and watched like, man, I really like this. I like the vibe, the energy. I know that people like back and forth. There's certain experimental films they like, other ones they don't. Some like 2, some don't like 2. One of those things, but I felt like if you're going to get all these action movie personalities together, it felt like this was kind of the most fun tone of them all. It's like they didn't take it too seriously. Van Damme's a great fucking villain. I really liked it, so I've been having it in the back of my head to upgrade it for a long time. And like I said, just to get it over that $30 hump and just like, okay, might as well pay for an extra disc than just pay for the shipping itself. So just seems economical to use my money in that regard. And so I have physically at this time in that regard, but I've also ordered Blu-rays of, I ordered The Invisible Man, the new one that came out this year. I actually had shot a video at the time on that opening weekend, but it wasn't terribly hot on the video. Maybe it was because there was just a lack of like footage from the film to really use to kind of pinpoint what I wanted to say about it. It felt like the edit's not going very well. I don't know if it's just, I don't think there was really much of anything wrong with what I shot. It's like the editing process isn't going very well. Just like it's not working out for me. I just decided, okay, I'm just going to wait, get the Blu-ray when it comes out, and I can do something more involved with it. So Steve also saw the film. He very much liked it, but he didn't like the dramatic irony of the film in regards to, okay, got this great setup and this sort of paranoid, unsure type of thing that's kind of spoiled by calling it The Invisible Man. Not going to spoil anything for you guys, but just the fact that the setup of the film is supposed to play off a little bit ambiguous. Is she paranoid? Is there really a guy stalking her, stuff like that? But the fact you call it The Invisible Man kind of lets the cat out of the bag a little early. So Steve kind of felt that way about it, but he really did think the film was a good piece of work. So just so you know his thoughts on it, I'll integrate a little bit into the video I eventually do on it. But regards to that, just so you know, we both very much had high praise for the film, especially Elizabeth Moss. Killer performance. But I got that. I also ordered upgrading my old copy, the old DVD version of Last Boy Scout, which is on like a double pack with another Bruce Willis movie that I really don't care about. But I was looking at Capsaholic today and it's like, fuck, that DVD looks atrociously bad. And compared to the Blu-ray footage, I mean, just on its own, it's just like garbage. I haven't watched the DVD in so fucking long, which means I haven't watched the movie in just as long. So Oliver actually, when I first got my Laserdisc player, he sent me like a care package, a bunch of like Laserdiscs and whatnot, and that was among the Laserdiscs. I haven't even watched the Laserdisc, but the fact that there's something else here I'm getting to that links into that it might have just been porting over the Laserdisc transfer onto the DVD because it looked really fucking awful. Compressed the shit, no resolution, stuff like that. So I'm getting into that upgrade. And I'm also upgrading another film from DVD, which is a Jim Caviezel movie called Outlander. Which is kind of weird because I just did Sean Connery Outland. This has nothing to do with it, but similar titles, but different types of films. It was released about, I think about 11, 12 years ago. But it was a really nice sort of like almost medieval setting sci-fi movie in a certain way where Caviezel plays this sort of alien bounty hunter that crash lands on Earth, and there's this monster that he's chasing down and stuff like that, and he becomes part of this sort of almost clan or whatnot, this entire kingdom of sorts, and it's like it's kind of a melding between, as like the quote on the front of the thing is like Beowulf meets Predator. And I really liked it when I first watched it, which was way back in like maybe 2012. I did a written review on it for the old blog. I haven't watched it since, but I got my kind of interest back up about it recently. Someone else mentioned it recently, and it just got my wheels turning. It's like, I want to get this. I might do a review on it too, so I got to revisit it. But I was like, I remember really liking it. Thought there was a lot of good things involved with it. Some really good cast. It's really good stuff. Ron Perlman's in it. Jack Houston, I think it's John Hurt. Good cast, some good effects, and producers from Lord of the Rings were involved with it. So it's worthwhile. I'm looking forward to getting that upgrade. Because like I was like, okay, maybe I'll just watch the DVD first, and then put on the upgrade later. Put it off till later. But I was like, if I want to watch this like really good photography in the film, I really want to get the resolution for it, and it really wasn't that much. They had a pre-owned copy at Blue Moose, so I threw that on there as well. So it'll be coming up in next week or so. Who knows? But it'll be shipped out tomorrow, and I'll eventually get it at the other end of the weekend. So regardless of that, so those are things that are stirring up that are possibilities for new reviews on the channel. Obviously, I keep forgetting things, but regardless of that, whatever the fuck it was, Invisible Man, yeah, that's the main thing I'll definitely be getting to. The Superman 2 one is going to be taking some time to edit. I'm going to try to work as dedicatedly as possible to get that kind of worked out and everything like that. I want to try and make it a little bit more succinct than some other videos I've been doing lately. I just kind of want to focus on not going on too goddamn long about things. I want to kind of pinpoint things a little bit more specifically and not get too long-winded. I do a lot of work in editing, guys. There's a lot of places where I just like chop out a lot of stuff when I'm editing stuff, but I just want to make as easy of a process going into editing as possible. So stuff like that. But speaking about the sort of like Laserdisc transfer ported over to the DVD as I'm ripping footage from Star Trek 6. Apparently the original DVD release of Star Trek 6 is basically the Laserdisc transfer. It's non-anamorphic, and I had no goddamn clue. Because I originally bought this at the time. Then sometime, I don't know, God knows when it was. I did sell off my copy of this. And then I eventually decided to hunt it down again to have all 3 cuts of the movie, which I talked about in the last video. Get to the video where I'd actually do the review. You'll get more about it. But there's 3 slightly different versions of the film. And this was the original home video version, which I do have the Laserdisc, which is still sealed for when I purchased it about 1.5 years ago. So I haven't opened it. It's never been opened. I'm waiting on it. But regardless, it's like I was just thinking like maybe I don't really need to rip this one, because the differences between this and the special collector's edition, sort of director's cut, aren't that much of a difference. I can kind of cheat the footage here and there from better quality sources to illustrate the points about the differences. But regardless of that, I also finally did get the Entrada soundtrack. I was like, I'm eventually going to goddamn do this review. I've been talking about it for long enough now. I'm going to be doing it. I might as well put in the order for Entrada, because I did from Bull Moose. I thought they had this version, because they had one that they had a listing with this UPC code on it, but it ended up being the regular soundtrack release from way back when. They refunded my money, and they said, the cost of the item's too low. We're not going to ask you to send it back. The cost for them to give me a label and stuff like that and send it back was not worth it. So they just refunded my money and said you can donate it, do whatever you want with it. So I did eventually get the proper Entrada release, which is 2 discs and has alternate cues and the entire complete soundtrack from Cliff Idleman. Listening to it pretty regularly, just throwing it on to just kind of have it going around in my head, and it's still good stuff. So good stuff all over the place. Entrada, La La Land Records, these 2 companies do wonderful work. I've got this, the Star Trek 5 score, and the motion picture score. I do want to eventually get the one for First Contact, which is, again, Jerry Goldsmith. I think that's a really good score as well. So I do have the one for Nemesis. It's all the way over there. But I do have just the original soundtrack release of Star Trek Nemesis from Goldsmith. So I have a lot of stuff going on there. But regards to that, so that's basically all there is for like those little things. But as I kind of started off in the last video, I'll try and make this a little bit more succinct and whatnot. But we're about 20 minutes in. Just wanted to check the time on that. Want to make sure I wasn't going too far. But regards to that, as I started in the last video where I was kind of like spotlighting these sort of sci-fi TV series, I kind of just throw a little something extra into the mix. Because I'm not doing as many pickups, stuff like that. So I figured I'd throw in some stuff, kind of things to talk about in addition to everything else. And since the Kickstarter for the In Search of Tomorrow thing kind of has concluded, and they got a massive support for that goddamn thing, it's incredible. So anyone from this channel who clicked over there and support it, you're fucking incredible type of people to support the living shit out of that. So regardless, since that's passed, I figure let me throw in something that's a little bit different. Not sci-fi, but something I I've kind of really wanted to talk about for a long while, and it's like I couldn't really figure out what to do about it, because let's talk about Human Target. This is a series that came out, I think it was about roughly 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So, adapted from the DC comic for Warner Brothers, but it aired on Fox. For getting into some shit there. So as I said last time, they canceled a lot of fucking shows. That really made me pissed off. But Human Target was fucking awesome in season 1. This was killer. This was a great action show. You got Mark Valley, Chi McBride, Jackie Earle Haley. Wonderful goddamn cast. The thing felt like a big action movie every single week. Wonderful score from Barry McCreary. That's where I learned of this guy. It's like, this guy makes it sound theatrical. Sounds like a big budget action spectacle type of thing. They had the budget, they had the special effects, they had the stunts, all that stuff is wonderful. Maybe the pilot started out a tad bit generic in a certain way, but it really built really good stuff as it went along. I really loved the hell out of it. It was just a big, wonderful type of thing where you got Mark Valley as Christopher Chance, this guy who's kind of got a shadiness in his background. You don't really know things. And Jackie Earle Haley's character of Guerrero, he's a little bit more darker. He's a little bit deeper into the fringe of the shadiness and everything like that. And Chi McBride's that kind of like straight-laced type of guy who's kind of keeping everything together and kind of setting up this entire sort of protection agency that Chance is the guy, the point man for, and everything like that. So this guy's a security specialist, and he does the whole thing like the best way to kind of avert dangers, kind of put yourself almost in the front lines of the whole thing to invite things, and then Chance will do his thing to avert danger and stuff like that. So he's kind of a bodyguard to the highest degree. And all this wonderful stuff in season 1. The great fucking... just everything. The episodes were great. The stories were smart. The dialogue was great. The characters were really cool and funny, stuff like that. And they had these little storylines kind of threading through here and there. And they have this great stuff building up to the season finale where you got Amanda Sante coming in as our old big boss, this big bad dude and everything like that. It was really fucking cool. And they had Lee Majors show up in the final episode of the season, stuff like that. It's like this guy was the original Christopher Chance, so it's like a moniker that gets passed down over time, stuff like that. So it's like, it was all wonderful. Season 1 was great. Then they fucked it up with season 2. They soft reboot everything. They threw out the cliffhanger from season 1. They revamped the entire show to introduce new characters and new dynamics and throw in a love story for the character of Chance. It all just kind of, I mean, there were some things that were good with it. There were still some good episodes, good things, but overall they just really fucking ruined the goddamn thing. I never watched the final episode. I was like, I'm done with this. You've ruined this show. And then they canceled it because they fucked it up. Because they started looking at demographics and stuff like that. It's like, oh, how can we change this to re-appeal to these types of people and stuff like that? You fucked up the whole show. And I just so much remember at the time I went on there. I just posted at least one comment on their Facebook page kind of criticizing how they kind of fucked everything up on the show, how they retooled it and kind of took out a lot of good things. They ruined the entire wonderful storyline they had going on at the season finale of season 1 and just kind of dumped everything off and just kind of washed the slate clean out so many things. It kind of ruined it. And then deleted my comment after I started getting some traction. Not like I was getting hundreds of likes or anything like that, but there was enough people saying, agreeing with what I had to say, and they just deleted my comment. Just disappeared. Fuck. You ruined the show. It was a wonderful show. I only have the DVD copy. They did put out... Season 1 is available on Blu-ray. At least they put it out at the time. They never put Season 2 out on any physical media whatsoever. That's how much it just, like, tanked. They didn't even bother to put out the second season at all. And this was well before there was like a big sort of traction towards streaming. It was starting to pick up. It was not like it is now, where you can release a whole show on streaming and never have to release a physical media version of it. This was still at a time 10 years ago when you would still grab up the season set, stuff like that, and they're just like, we're not even going to bother because the ratings probably tanked and the criticisms kind of just burned it down to the ground, stuff like that. Just like it just didn't work. And tried to build this love story with this new sort of benefactor that Chance's work and everything like that. There was no chemistry. There was no chemistry between the two of them at all. None of it. None of it worked. Nothing worked that they changed. Everything they changed just made the show a lesser show. Because the first season is just, it was a big action testosterone type of thing. So you understand the demographics, like 18 to 24 or something like that, males. So it's like young males, stuff like that, or whatever it is. Whatever weird demographic age ranges, stuff like that. There was a very specific age range that they marketed towards, and it worked, and it was wonderful, and they fucked it up. So it's like, this is, ever want to watch it, it's worth watching season 1. Because it's really fucking good. It's really fun. How many episodes are on this thing, I don't know offhand. Let me see if anything tells me something inside the booklet here. Let's get the thing open. But there's 12 episodes in season 1, so it's good for binging. So I don't know if it's really up on streaming services particularly, like an SVOD or anything like that, but whatever you can do, I think season 1 is well worth checking out. It's really fucking good. It's really fucking good. I just like, again, all these things. Everyone knows from like back on like Firefly, stuff like that. Fox just loved to fuck things up with these shows. It just goes on and on, from Brimstone, which I did that wonderful video on a couple years ago that just keep getting more comments and more views. Thank you so much about everyone coming up and finding that video, and everyone who goes looking for episodes of Brimstone on YouTube obviously finds that video and watches it and enjoys it and shares their love for that show. It's like, I can't believe that show, 20 plus years on, they never fucking released it. And like, my video shows there's a goddamn fan base who would watch the fucking thing. They would buy that fucking DVD set or whatever the case was, and they'd never fucking released that show. It's insane to me. Just my video, there's thousands of views on that video. How Warner couldn't just put on Warner Archive and just put it out there, press the disc on demand. If you just want to do DVD, you just do it all on demand. There's barely any overhead costs. You could just do that and people would get it. Or you could just, again, HBO Max is coming up. They could just throw it up on there. Who knows? They're the ones who produced that show. Same as Human Target. They don't have to deal with other shit. It's like, these shows are good. They're fucking great. And you don't get these fucking studios and whatnot. It's like, there's been fan interest in like Brimstone for fucking years. For like 2 decades now, people have been asking about. I fought to try and keep the show on the air. It was part of the letter writing campaign. People have been asking about the show. People have been doing interviews with the creators. It's like, there's a fan base for this 20-year-old show that's never been released on any format whatsoever. And I had to get a bootleg version of it at a Comic-Con like 6 or like 7 years ago or something like that. Paid $35 for it, but I was like, I had to do it. So, anyway, getting off on that. One of those things. So, whew, that's enough of that. So, anyway, guys, I hope it made you feel pretty nice and everything like that, and you enjoyed things. And so I'll be working as much as I can to get up on the Superman 2 thing as possible. So it's going to be another couple of days before I can start shooting it. So it's probably going to be at least another week after that before I get it released. But hopefully we can figure out this commentary technical setup thing, and maybe we can get something out to you guys. So I'm not going to tease exactly what we're planning on until we can know that we can make it work. So that's all there is right now, guys. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching and supporting and all these different things. Really, really goddamn appreciate it, guys. I really just fantastically appreciate you guys continue to watch and support and comment and stuff like that. I'm going to keep going for you guys. So I think Superman 2 is a really positive type of thing to talk about. Superman's always a good thing to talk about. I was going to wear one of my Superman shirts for the video, but unfortunately they're many, many years old, and I've kind of grown a little bit more out of them. They didn't fit terribly well when I bought them. They fit a lot less comfortably now. So regards to that, I still want to talk about this film. I want to talk about Chris Reeve and all these wonderful things. So guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.